Welcoming people back again at my kitchen table.
Great.
Our YouTube journey to Charcoal Lane. And
all right.
Just letting people know that we have a very special guest today. A man that, along with someone else, another fellow, came along and when I met this fellow, my world changed completely. And so I'd like to introduce Mr. Paul Kelly. How are you, Paul?
I'm good, thanks, Archie. How are you? It's good to see you.
I'm good. How you been going in these sort of I don't know, these strange times? You know, with the virus.
Yeah, not too bad. You know, the first lockdown was fine, and then we re-emerged, and then the second one was a bit dispiriting, but actually picked myself up again. I'm okay. You know, I'm here. I've got my piano and my guitar and my books, and got the beach close by. So a lot of my colleagues, as I'm sure is some of your colleagues, many of your colleagues too, our colleagues. It's hard for them.
Yeah.
Hard for them who have not been able to do gigs, but I'm not totally relying on gigs to make a living. So I've been okay. It's good to spend time at home anyway.
Oh, good, true. So yeah, we're just because Charcoal Lane, the album, is 30 years this year, anniversary, and so we've been revisiting that and talking about Charcoal Lane, and last week we talked to Linda and Vicar, what they remembered about coming in to Carlton, their Greg Ham's studio, and recording that album or singing on that album. So we just wondered what you recall about that as well, and meeting you myself, and how it all came together. Yeah.
Well, I remember a lot, and I hope most of it's correct, but going right back to when we first met was at the old the Melbourne Concert Hall, now called Hamer Hall.
Yeah.
And I guess you mentioned him before, but not by name, but I'll say his name. Steve Connolly was responsible for us meeting, because he saw you on a program called Blackout singing "They Took the Children Away," and he said to me, we should get this guy Archie to come and open up for us at the concert hall. And it was our first time at the concert hall, so it was a big deal for us. We were all pretty nervous. And I remember meeting, I met you when you backstage, and I introduced myself. I think I said my name, but I probably said I'm Paul, and then and you were just about to go on, and I wished you luck, and of course found out later you thought I was a security guy. I remember very much. I remember vividly your performance, and how you finished with "They Took the Children Away," and there was this stunned silence in the concert hall, and you thought, "Uh-oh, I've bombed" or something, and
exactly,
walked off. Yeah, and you walked off, and then this sort of applause just started building and building and building.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I got tingles in my skin, and hairs went up on the back of my neck. So we went straight on. The way that the show was set up, we went straight on after you. So you walked off, and we walked on, and by the time we finished, you were gone, like a mysterious stranger into the night. But we knew how to track you down, So we did track you down after that and talked about doing a record. And of course, I'm sure you've talked about that to a few people. But I remember really leading up to lots about leading up to the record, because we just started, Steve Connolly and I just started visiting you at your place in Reservoir or Thornbury. Was it Collins Street? Wasn't
Thornbury,
it?
that was a family group over in Thornbury. Yeah.
Collins Street, Thornbury, and just going up there once a week, or once every couple of weeks, and sitting around the kitchen table and with Ruby and the sandwich. We remember lamb sandwiches from the leftover roast, and kids all around the place coming and going. And we sat around drinking cups of tea, and singing. I remember you singing "There Stands the Glass" by Ted Hawkins.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
That's right.
We just sort of sang songs that we all liked. You know, we sang George Jones. We sang Patsy Cline, "I Fall to Pieces." What was the George Jones one? We sang a few of his. Just because.
Oh,
Just because.
That's right.
She Thinks I Still Care. She Thinks I Still Care.
That's right.
And then you started singing. You were singing your songs in the mix as well. I also remember the way that Ruby would prompt you. She'll say, "Archie, what about that one?" or "Sing that one." And I think it was after about our fourth visit, she said, "Why don't you sing that song, Charcoal Lane?" And he said, "All right." And then you sang Charcoal Lane, and I just think, Steve and I just said, our jaws dropped to the floor. It's like, this is a beautiful, complete song.
Yeah.
And it was not long after that you had plenty of songs. I know you've been singing them for quite a while in folk clubs. Where do you used to sing at 101?
1C1.
1C1. Yeah. And what the beauty of making, working with you on that record for us, for Steve and me, was that you were so already, you had everything. The song, it wasn't like you were a novice. You weren't. You've been working a long time writing songs, and you had these great songs. So I also remember very strongly the feeling of as the producers trying to stay out of the way and just make sure that there wasn't too much production, too much clutter, and letting the words and the lyrics be to the forefront. And but I remember, I remember that it was we didn't actually do it live, like just you sit and play the songs live. We did build them up. That was probably a little bit of that 80s style production we learned to build the track up, and that was unfamiliar to you. So I know that took a little bit of getting used to.
It did.
Steve would play the guitar.
Yeah, I didn't understand what was going on. I just thought, go in and sing a song, and everybody would be playing, and it was all strange but wonderful, to me as well. Seeing that process, but like I said, I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but slowly but surely, as it's built up, and then when we finally got a chance to listen to some of the roughs, I thought, oh, I see. So that that each layer had sort of come together, and we have this. Yeah, so I was. It was a learning experience for me, for sure.
Yeah. And we invited some people in. You mentioned Vicar and Linda.
Yeah.
Which stack they sang on? Did they sing on City Streets?
No, they sang on Sister Brother.
No, Sister Brother. Yeah.
No.
And no. Yeah.
And Beautiful Child.
Beautiful Child. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember you saying, you're saying, I might get Tim Finnan. I might get Tim Finnan or something. I'm going, And I'm thinking to myself, nah, can't be. You go, yeah. And I remember when you talked about the Bulls, because I never heard of the Bull Sisters, and you explained that they were the backing vocalist to Camilleri and the Black Sorrows. Yeah. I said, what? You're kidding me? So it was all people like, Tim Finn and the Bull Sisters coming in. I thought, I mean, that was enough for me. I think if nothing ever happened after we did that album, like I told the Bull Sisters, after we recorded Charcoal Lane, I would have been a very happy man anyway.
Yeah. Well, that was also the first time that I actually worked with the Bull Sisters, and I'd only met them, not that long before, and I'd seen them sing, of course. So I went on to work with Vico and Linda a lot after that.
Yeah.
We still do, but that was our first time together. So thanks for that, Archie.
No, it was
we
great.
also had. Well, I remember we thought of. Oh, turn my phone off. Sorry, that was my phone. Turn it down. I hope it's these sessions are rough and ready, because if you're talking to me, it's probably a bit raggedy.
No, it's good. It's good. It's real.
Oh, good. I remember thinking, well, Tim was living in Melbourne at the time, and we wanted the high harmony on. They took the children away, and we just thought, well, Tim's voice would really suit that. And he was really happy to do it. James Black came and played some organ. Yeah. James Black, who was probably playing in Mondo Rock at the time or later on, and been a big part of the Rock Whiz band for many years, and many other bands. Also with Black Sorrows, he played with Joe a lot. And I got my sister Mary Jo came and played.
Yes. Summer of My Life.
Yeah.
Oh, such a beautiful track. The piano on that, just beautiful.
And George Petrumlis on the accordion for
Sister Brother.
Brother, sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun getting different people. There's sort of two reasons for doing that. One is these people and their skills suited those songs, but also through them playing on it, we expanded. It was helping people to get to know about the record through all these other people singing on it.
Yeah.
But I remember it very, very clearly, and I remember being in the studio while you were so close to you while you were singing, and thinking, oh, how lucky I am to be just a few feet away from Archie, from you, while you were singing these great songs. That was really good memories for me. And I remember, Steve Connolly was really the main man in charge. He was the producer, and I was just his sort of assistant.
Yeah, well, that's
Is that how you remember?
That's important that people. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I suppose a lot of people don't realise his contribution and how integral he's
oh yes,
he was to that album as well.
Yes, yeah, very much from the very beginning all the way through. And yeah, he was the man at the controls, and he was calling the shots, really, and we were just all working to make it as good as we could.
Yeah, well, that's the memories I have. It was all, it was a bit strange, but wonderful and new and exciting, really, for me. And meeting yourself. I remember at the Hamer Hall, the concert hall, when you came in. I don't know if you said your name was Paul, but I thought, dressed in black, my security does, and sorry, I mistook you for security, brother. But when you went on stage after me, and I was about to pack up and go home, I did hear you singing some songs And I thought, I know these songs. And they said, and I looked out, from the wings, from the side, and saw you playing. And I said, is that Paul Kelly? And they go, yeah. I said, wow. How come I know these songs? They said, well, because your music was so, I don't know, your music was so familiar. Yeah, there wasn't a day you went by in Melbourne anyway, on the radio, one radio or the other station, that you didn't hear a Paul Kelly song. And so it's like you knew them anyway, without actually meeting you. So I said, I know these songs. And they're getting to do Charcoal Lane and what we've done, through the years. I remember you taking us into a studio in Ultimo when we were rehearsing for the Building Bridges concerts. Remember the Building Bridges concerts at Bondi Pavilion? And we was in Ultimo. They had rehearsal studios there for some of the bands to rehearse and artists. And you took me to the studio one time and said, I'd like to come in and listen to this song. I don't know if you remember. And
the children away
there, and started playing, and they had that start with the organ, with the keyboard, and the start thinking, oh yeah, didn't know what much to think about, and started playing, and then eventually they come in to put the children away. And I went, what? I said, this is my song. And so and from there to the Curtin Street in Carlton, making that album was a great experience all around, and we're still, from and still to this day, I think about years and Steve as well, and what she's mean to me, and just like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to get my songs out in the first place. So I probably have before, but I'd like to thank you today, especially and this year, the 30th anniversary of Charcoal Lane. Thanks, Paul, and the dear old Steve. Thank you, my brother, for giving me the opportunity. But
well, I'd like to thank you for giving us a chance to work with you, because that was, as far as I was concerned, that was a real privilege and an honour. And as I said before, sitting so close to you while you sang those great songs, and I knew They Took the Children Away was a really important song, and I had a feeling it would be, it would start to create a conversation around the country, which it did. And to be a part of your life has been one of the great things in my life, and long may it continue. I mean, we just last year we sang together on the record you did with Paul Grabowski. So I hope our path. I hope we keep getting chances to sing together, because I love it. I love it.
That's just what people have been saying about that, especially our collaboration and on that song. And they said, why didn't you do this sooner? I said, well, it's Paul has taken that song around, and gone with that song, and we just sat there one day and talked about it. My days in the boxing tents with Billy Leach, and Paul actually wrote the song, and but it was good to finally sing it with you, Paul.
Yeah, it was almost 30 years since we wrote it. I think you had a bit hand in writing that song, because I remember it was on the first tour after Charcoal Lane, and we went to New Zealand. I remember you had sushi. You remember having the burger with the lot in Palmerston North with it had fish and meat in it.
And a fish in it. Yeah, fish.
Fish.
What's this piece of fish? Hamburger.
But, that was a first for me too.
Yeah.
And then that tour took us around Australia and to Perth. Remember writing that song in a hotel room in Perth. Is that your memory?
Yeah, that's
sitting around talking.
I think so. Yeah, rally around the drum. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I didn't record it till quite a while later, and then I always thought it was a song for the both of us, and I was glad that it came up eventually for on your record with Paul, and then to sing it together was really something.
It's great. It's one of the highlights. Yeah, it's a highlight of doing that album with Grabowski, with Paul Grabowski, and so yeah. What can we say? It's been great. Just sitting down and reminiscing about Charcoal Lane, but not just that, about what we've done through the years, and it's always been good, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do something again. I'm sure we will. And
we'll have to do our 31st anniversary of Charcoal Lane next year. We don't get a chance this year. I hope we can get out and play those songs again. I remember the 25th. We got together at the. I know you're all around the country, but we got together at the Thornbury Theatre. And
that's right. Yeah.
There. And also, you're getting up with you for Into the Bloodstream when you were performing that record. So
yeah.
Long may you continue singing, writing songs and singing them. And whenever I'm around, if you let me, I'll jump up and lend a harmony.
I'll be deadly, bud. Honestly. Yeah. So I know. So just like, I suppose, thank you for being here today and being a part of this YouTube journey back to Charcoal Lane. So thank you for your time. I know we've got a bit of time on our hands, but I'd like to thank you for sharing your time with us today. And it's just good to hear from you again. And remember, together, those days and fond memories, great memories, and especially you and Steve. I see you sitting there, even though I did my thing, my thing, singing. And, but I see you, there working and talking about each song and each track and how it came together and choosing the tracks, choosing the songs. Like I said, it was a wonderful experience for me, one that I won't forget ever. And so, as I said before, thanks for the opportunity and the experience of recording this old album, Charcoal Lane. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, I hope so. It's very good to see you, Archie, and thank you again. I have very fond memories of making that record. I look forward to making more memories with you. You look great, Archie.
Thank you very much. Well. Thank you, Paul.
Great to see your smiling face. Great to see your smiling face.
Good to see you smiling too, Buzz.
All right.
All right, mate. See you, brother.
Bye.
See you, Paul. Yeah.
Bye.
Then we top oil and mustard for a quart of wine. Thick or thin, right or wrong, in the cold and in the heat. We'd cross over Smith Street to the end of the line. Then we'd laugh and sing, do anything to take away the pain, trying to keep it down as it first went round in Charcoal Lane.
Spinning yarns and telling jokes, now the wine is tasting good, 'cause it's getting closer and closer to its end. Well, have a sip and roll some smokes. We'd smoke tailor-mades if we could. but we just may do with some city street band. And then we'd all chuck in and we'd start to grin when we had enough to do it again. But if things got tight, we had to bite for Charcoal Lane.
Up Gertrude Street, we'd walk once more, just a few cents short, and we'd stop at the builders to see who we could see. Then we'd bite around till we'd scored a flagon of McWilliams port, enough to take away our misery.
And then we'd all get drunk, oh so drunk, and maybe a little insane. And we'd stagger home all alone, and the next day we'd do it again. Have a reviver in Charcoal Lane. Oh, I'm a survivor of Charcoal Lane.